So today, what I want to talk about first, who am I and why am I qualified to talk about growing your socials and growing your business with content? So as you mentioned, I'm a co-founder of mediascaling.com. We work with a lot of top personal brands and businesses. In the last 2.5 years, we've generated 7 billion views, 24+ million followers, over 1 million leads for our clients organically. Organic leads, by the way, they show up at higher rates, they close at higher rates because you're talking to fans and people with higher trust versus skeptics. They have more paid in fulls, they refer more customers, and so therefore they're a lot more valuable to your business. And that's a reason to prioritize organic content. And then the clients that we're working with collectively bring in over 2 billion in annual online sales. Some of our clients that we work with are Grant Cardone, Jay Shetty, Fashion Nova, Pray.com, of the bigger brands all the way down to new businesses just getting started and everything in between. How do you create content? I'm just gonna keep it very tactical if that's okay. Step one, first I wanna go over what really stops people, okay? Some common things that I hear are first, judgment. Who here has felt like they have refrained or stopped creating content because you are concerned about what friends or family will think when you start posting? It's understandable. Also though, it's a good way to make a lot less money and not grow your business. Also, it's way more acceptable than it used to be. 5 years ago, there was more of a stigma to it. People judged it more. Now it's accepted and it's actually expected. Another one is equipment. Who here thinks that you need the 4K camera, a full studio setup, the professional lighting, a videographer? So I brought this that I want to showcase. Over the last 2 years, we had a lot of clear data. We post somewhere between 20 to 30,000 pieces of content per month. It can kind of rotate given on the month. And what's happened over this last 2 years is now phone-driven content is outperforming the 4K driven content, right? So that's no longer an excuse. You don't need the fancy camera. You don't need the studio. You can film it with your phone and it can be selfie style. You can also get one of these. You just have a magnet, you put it on, you talk into your phone right here, you're ready to film. There's really no excuses, right? The phone cameras are so good now. Also, if you script out your content, you can use a teleprompter app. It's okay to use your front camera. Don't feel like you have to just use your back camera. Front camera content still looks great. On your camera settings, by the way, this is some of the base level stuff, but a lot of people don't realize on your video at the top left corner here, if you click that, you can film in 4K and you can film in 60 frames per second, front camera and back camera, and it looks incredible, right? So make sure that you always choose that 4K setting if you're filming with your phone. But again, this is all that you need. Is there any other reasons or concerns that people have had when it comes to creating content and growing their brand? Credibility, okay. That's something to where there's stages to it, but understanding that there's always a large amount of people who don't know information that you do know. And so it doesn't matter how far along in your journey, you have credibility because you have information that they don't. And so as long as you're sharing that information, then you're going to have some market of people who's gonna take interest in what you're talking about. Don't be afraid to share the struggles. It makes you more real and it makes people trust you a lot more versus if you always look perfect on camera. When it comes to building your brand, now let's get into step-by-step approach of content strategy. And first, what you need is an offer. When you have an offer, and there's some tips with the offers, high ticket is better than low ticket, always. It's a lot easier to build your business to 10,000 a month and then to 100,000 a month and then to 1 million a month when you have high ticket offers versus low ticket offers. I like businesses that can craft an offer at least around a 5,000 or more value when it comes to your lifetime value per customer. So first, I would really recommend coming up with the high ticket offer. How do you do that? You solve one big problem for one specific person. Riches are in the niches. I'm sure that a lot of us have heard about that, but it is very difficult to scale in earlier business journey when you're trying to please everyone and you're trying to offer multiple things to anyone who will speak with you. And when you try and speak to everyone in your content and your marketing, you speak to no one, right? Because you can't be specific. And why I start with the offer is because this is what's going to allow you to really build a business that brings in more resources and more capital to grow everything much faster. Don't rely on just AdSense and brand deals for your socials. It's very low amount of money comparatively to the growth and the reach that you get versus if you do have your own offer, okay? And so now that we have an offer, ideally it's high ticket. Also, selling to rich people is a lot better than selling to poor people. Just throwing that out there. If you don't have full ideas on how you can do this, also AI is so good at this point. Brainstorm with ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or whatever is your choice, and then just brain dump on what is your expertise? What is your work experience? What have you done? And ask it to give you insights of how can you craft a high ticket offer and who should it be for? That should help you get a breakthrough on clarity. Everyone has some level of expertise to make this happen. When you have your your offer, and now you know that who your offer is for, that is the person that you create content for as well. That's why I'm going over the offer first, because it's very important to get specific who is your ideal client profile or your ideal avatar, because all your content needs to be speaking to them and relatable to them. That's going to be a big part of guiding your overall content strategy. I would say 20 to 30% of content can just be for you. It's just whatever, if it's a passion, it's a hobby, it's something that you just like creating content about, and it's not necessarily speaking to your ideal client and it's not bringing in leads, that's okay, because you are the niche as well at the end of the day. And people also want to know who is the person behind the person. So if all of your content is only business and it looks super professional and you're not showcasing anything that makes you an actual person, you're not going to have as much trust and you're not going to build as strong of a following versus otherwise. Now, what does that look like? When it comes to the content creation process, we fully specialize in short form. That's going to be vertical video, takes up the full screen on your phone, 3 minutes or less. Why we specialize in short form is, I use Instagram as an example. I'm sure it's a top platform for a lot of us in here. Instagram has 3 main post types. You have Reels, Carousels, and Stories. Reels gets you primarily reach to non-followers, and then smaller amounts of reach to your existing following. Carousels gets you primary reach to your followers and smaller amount of reach to non-followers. And then stories go to pretty much only your followers. So when people ask, like, should I do more carousel picture content? Should I do more short form video content? I recommend doing more short form video content, because that's how you're actually gonna grow. Every platform over the last 5 years has turned into a For You page rather than a following feed, meaning we're constantly served content based on our interests and our demographics. That's why, again, if you are specific about creating content or an ideal client avatar, the platforms are now smart enough. They make all their money from advertising. They use all the same trillions of data points on ads to also serve us organic content based on our interests and demographics. And so when you're talking to a specific person, the platform's smart enough to serve your content to that specific person. So in a way, it's never been easier to grow your brand to the right audience than it is today. And what is the target that you want to hit? My minimum target that you should really strive for is at least 30 Reels, 30 short form videos per month. It can be a lot if you don't have the right systems behind it. So we'll talk about that. It can also be a lot when you are new and you're a solopreneur and you don't have a team yet. And so the sooner that you can build a team around this, the better. The faster it's going to allow you to scale, the more of your time it's going to give back to you to focus on higher leverage activities for the business. You have to build a brand to really scale and succeed on social media today if you want to grow your business to 7 figures and beyond. And so going with a target of 1 short form video per day, that's 30 videos per month, you want to start by just having that number in mind. Step 2 from that is you then take the time to map the full content outline out. What are those 30 videos going to be? Step 3 is then you batch film that content. So as a business owner, you have a lot going on, you're balancing a lot of things. I recommend that you just knock out all that content in 1 day versus trying to film 1 to 2 videos every single day. Way more efficient doing that, right? And to do 30 videos, if you prep it all properly, that's 1 filming day per month, and that's it. Then after you batch film, my top recommendation, one of the first hires that you should delegate and bring onto your team is an editor, because that can take a lot of time if you want higher quality edits, and it's very cheap and cost effective to outsource. There's such a huge pool of editors in the marketplace now. You can get incredible 10 out of 10 talent overseas. Do not hire an editor in the US. US based, you should hire a videographer if you need that, right? Because obviously they need to be there in person. But if it's just editing, go overseas. You can find a really top tier editor for about $500 a month to edit 30 videos per month for you on short form side. Upwork is a great platform for this. Go to upwork.com, create an editor job post. I like Claude for script writing on videos, for job posts, for anything copywriting wise. I find that it does a better job, and you can use it a lot more on the free plan versus ChatGPT. So go to Claude and then tell it to write you the dream job opportunity post for this position, i.e. the editor in this case, because when they see that job post, you want it to look like the best job that they've ever seen, the best job on the marketplace. If you just do the standard basic stuff that everyone else is doing, it's going to be harder for you to recruit top talent. So just a little side note. However, if you're not even in a spot yet to where you can bring on an editor for $500 a month, then do it yourself. And again, batch it. Use CapCut or use the new Instagram Edits app. They do a good enough job to get the content out and still give you a chance of it performing really well, as long as you're following the right formats, which we're about to get into. And then the last step is you should not just post content on one platform. It is a big mistake. Every platform now has short form content, and it performs across every platform. They all act the same. Every platform is now a For You page, like I mentioned. And it is a fact. You cannot argue against this fact that if you only post content on one platform, you're getting a fraction of the reach versus if you post it on every platform. We also Over the last 2.5 years, we've had on average 1.2 videos per day get 1 million plus views. That means on average, our company creates at least 1 viral video per day. It happens all the time to where we post that video across every platform. Sometimes it goes viral on TikTok, sometimes it goes viral on Instagram, sometimes it goes viral on Facebook, and then it'll perform average on the other platforms. Again, that can be time consuming. So how do you do that? The top recommendation is you have a team member to do it for you. If you don't have the resources for that yet, Metricool is my favorite platform for it. It allows you to schedule out your posts across all platforms. Now, when it comes to what kind of content should you create, only doing the standard talking head stuff with the selfie style on the phone or just, raw selfie style, it's extremely saturated. Everyone does it. And so it's harder to stand out, especially if you have a newer audience on platforms. And so you can do that for a portion of your content, but I do not recommend you doing that for all of your content. Because you are a newer brand, you have to show up like no one else and you have to get creative. And how do you do that? It's by going out there and finding proven viral formats and then getting creative of how you can use that format for your own brand. If we have some time, I'll show you some examples of what that looks like. But on top of the standard just talking head, another format is podcast clips, right? Another format is the vlog voiceover day in the life. I'm sure we've seen a lot of people, they have different scenes of them going throughout their day and they're narrating their day. That's a format. Another format is prop talking head content. We've had a lot of videos go viral to where it's the standard talking head content, but the subject, the creator is just holding a prop that relates to what they're talking about in the script, and it helps, it works. And there's more and more examples that I can show y'all. And so what I recommend is if you have the target of the 30 videos per month, to test at least 4 formats per month and divide that up. So that would be somewhere between 5 to 10 videos per format. Then you do it. And then after the 30 days go by, you look at the data. Look at what worked and do more of that. And then look at what underperformed and cut those out and replace them with new formats to test. And then never stop. Because what happens, social media is really predictable until it's not. When you find a winning post format, you need to squeeze that lemon until there's no juice left. A lot of top creators, you'll see that they have the same type of format they post over and over and over, and it continues to go viral again and again and again. So when you find the winning format, that's what can really grow your brand to where you now have a following of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, quote unquote, overnight, right? Like that's what snowballs your brand. So the faster you find that first viral post and that first viral format, the faster that you're gonna put yourself in a position to truly exponentially grow. One viral format that you can repeat is enough to grow your brand to hundreds of thousands in followers. Then when you find 2, I've seen brands grow to millions of followers with 2 viral formats, sometimes even just 1. And that's the process that we follow with every single brand. If we post more content, then we test more formats. But when you follow this cycle and you're scientific and you're structured, now you have a system instead of just throwing things at the wall and making it random, it allows you to scale your brand much faster. It's putting you in a much better spot to find those winning formats for your content and your brand. I should have had this open. I know it may still be a little bit vague for everyone. I want to see if I can pull up and show a few quick examples of viral formats. We've created this viral video formats doc. It's fully free. I'll show everyone the QR code if you want to get access. This has 24 viral video formats that we see consistently works across industries. When I'm talking about viral video formats, it's going out and studying top performing content on other accounts. There's a good rule of thumb, we call it the 5X rule, where content to study is when the views have gotten at least 5 times more than the following size of that account, right? That's an outlier post for that account. A lot of people limit themselves and they only go look at top performing content in their industry. So if you're a real estate agent, you search real estate agent and you only look at that content. The thing is, everyone else is already doing the top performing content styles in your space. And so you look like everyone else and it's harder to stand out. The arbitrage opportunity is looking in other industries, finding winning formats, and then being the first to apply them in yours. Now you get first mover advantage. So some formats, a lot of business owners like these. So here's an example link of what we call clone conversations.
$600 for a full rebrand, and they ghosted me. Again. Well, what made you pick 600?
So we've seen this, but it's the same person talking to themselves as 2 different personas, right? This is a format that helps you stand apart versus the general talking head selfie style video, right? And it works. It consistently works. It creates more dialogue and more relatability. Another format could be, we've seen these consistently go viral as outlier posts across dozens of industries now. We just call it the whiteboard format.
Oh, use Looka. Need a website? Use Framer. Need management? Use Notion. Need design? Use Midjourney.
And you want to pay attention to the specific details. They take a whiteboard and then they write specific lines about something that's relatable to their audience. They're all covered up by paper and they just reveal one at a time. It just works. And again, don't just try it one time. I recommend to always do at least 5 to 10 attempts per format before you write it off. And if something is kind of underperforms, but you're like, I feel like there's something there, then you can still tweak and optimize it and give it a little bit more chance. We all have seen green screen. These work well. Again, talking head, but allows you to stand out. This, by the way, has 2 different formats. This is a viral stitch video first. And so this is a dermatologist creating the content. For those who can't see it, it says, never cared about getting older until this happened. And it's showing the neck wrinkles, right? And then it says dermatologist stitch incoming. So the dermatologist is not the hook of this video, it's a viral stitch. And then it stitches over to her and we'll let it play.
If you are bothered by crinkly, crepey neck skin.
And now she's doing the green screen format, the floating head. And so that's blending 2 formats together into one to make it even more unique, right? You just get creative, but this stuff works. So I would just recommend to get out of the box of the standard only talking head content and look at how you can recreate proven viral formats that not a lot of other people are doing in your industry. That's how you stand out and really scale your brand today. That's what I got. Hopefully there were some takeaways. I appreciate everyone.